pyramid. This is not a pyramid. You just have to know the difference between a prism, a pyramid, and something that's not. And then you have to try to be right. That's all I've been asking you to do. Always. So when we look at a sphere like this, there's a lot of different things that we need to know about a sphere. Like, you might know that you've seen a ball before, you've seen a globe, you've seen an orb, you've seen a circular, three-dimensional shape before. But that's not the end of your knowledge. You need to know more. So, what if we had a point that was right in the center of that orb? Then we would call that the center. And what if we had a point that was on the surface of the orb? I'm not going to call this an orb, I'm going to call it a sphere. That is a sphere. What if you had a point that was on the surface of the sphere? And that's the center. What is this segment called? It's not a chord. These are not rhetorical questions. These are actual questions. What if you have a point over here? And this point's on the sphere. What is this segment? That's called a chord. But what's this called? Yeah, that's the radius. So, a sphere is a set of points that are everywhere the same distance from the center. It's not just in a plane. Because if it's in a plane, then it would be a circle. A sphere is everywhere in this, the same distance from the center. So when you look at this cube that's in the circles inside, if you go to the midpoint of that cube, and the midpoint of this, and the midpoint of everything, then you get this circle that goes around like that. You guys see that circle that goes around like that?
Yeah.
That circle is called the Great Circle. And it's the Great Circle because it's the equator, right? So if it was like the Earth, that's the biggest distance all the way around the circle. Do you guys know what the lines are that go horizontally around the Earth? What are they called? What are these called? Horizontal ones. That get smaller and smaller and smaller all the way up to the pole. They're called latitude. I said longitude.
No, I said one.
I know, but you said both. I gotta pick.
Yeah.
I need one. The horizontal ones are called latitude, like the equator and the Tropic of Capricorn, Tropic of Cancer. We live at like 35th degree. Do you guys know that? Do you know what it means? It just means this. This angle right here is 0. And the angle that goes up to like California is about 35 degrees from 0. So if you start at the equator, you go up to 35 degrees, then that's where California is. If you go up higher and higher and higher, and you get all the way to the North Pole, then that's 90 degrees from the equator. So, if you draw this circle that goes around like this, that passes through the poles, that's called a longitudinal and it's also a great circle. So if you get the chord that goes from the North Pole to the South Pole, it has to pass right through the center of the sphere. And that's called the diameter of the sphere. Half of that is the radius. So if you know all of those things, and you can see all of those things, visualize all those things, then you can use that to find answers to questions on problems. If you don't know this stuff, then you just have to ask someone to tell you how to do it. Because you can't find the thing that you need. So what you have to do is you have to be able to think what those things are when you don't know what that thing is. Not ask someone to tell you what it is. So if you cut this in half, you get the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. So that great circle called the equator divides the sphere into two hemispheres. Hemisphere meaning half of a sphere. Like semicircle.